So I guess my heater wants to do what the hell it wants to do. Keep shutting down. I'm trying my best not to have to put another fuel filter in there. I just clean it out, and it's not acting right. Hey, look, man, we're dealing with a 1999 Ford Ranger. It just got here today, and they got quite a few things going on with it. They just bought it from someone. It's not a Facebook Marketplace buy, but they purchased it from someone they knew. All right, and everything ran fine for a few days within a week of having it, and then all of a sudden, the heat stopped working. It started having a loud ticking and loss of coolant, smoking out the back, all that stuff. So it's a grocery list of things. I told him I have to prioritize and make sure his engine is worth putting money into before we go any further. So that's what we're going to do. I don't want to make the video aimless, but let's see what we're dealing with. I'm going to try to prioritize the things that we got. If we got smoking, misfires, knocking or ticking noises, I'm going to prioritize the ticking noise, because the smoking is not as big of a thing, especially if it's coming out tailpipe. Because if we have misfires and smoking out tailpipe, then I'm going to prioritize those. So I'm hoping that we're just dealing with the regular conventional misfire. Smoking is just the byproduct of age, loss of coolant. I can just about assure you it's coming from a couple things here. Looked like the guy worked on it. You can see by the labels. And some missing things here, broken things. This is a noise reducer. And this vacuum line here for the heater control valve. I see a few things that somebody been through here, and I saw some valve cover gaskets look like they were replaced. Call me crazy, but see right there, you can tell like a valve cover gasket was done. So somebody was already in here. And again, allegedly the oil was changed. So what I want to do, I have an idea why this system is losing coolant. Look at this radiator cap. Don't worry about the crap that's on there, but look at the gasket and how worn out that is. Okay, I'm just going to ignore the color of it and the possible contents that they put in there. This is a cast iron block, but when he did what he did, he forgot a couple things. I don't know who the guy was that was servicing it, but this will explain the coolant loss. Let's see if there's a trail. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a contributing factor. So I think that'll explain the coolant loss. The noise, I'm gonna start it up, and I think we just need to tackle the misfire first, because if we address the misfire, we can feel a little bit more validated if going any further. So I do want to pressure test this coolant system also. So I'm kind of between checking the misfire or coolant system. Don't know yet, but let me let you hear it, and then we'll go from there. So it sounds raggedy. I'm going to check the oil, show you the oil level's okay. But again, I don't know if they changed this oil filter. There's a MicroGuard oil filter down there, but it looks old. And there's a possibility. Let me see if we can zoom in. You look at it. That oil wasn't changed in a couple of weeks. And then the owner was like, well, it's some people change the oil and don't change the filter. I'm not saying that they did not do that, but if they did do it, if there's oil starvations up top, this will cause this problem. So logically, the best thing to do is to honestly change the oil, but the oil looks good. I'm going to be honest. And I wonder if the owner did this by draining the oil, the current owner drained the oil and topped the oil off. It wouldn't hurt because I'm dealing with a $200 budget right now because I told him I'm going to check these things within $200 range, just including assessment fee. And then we can go from there. But I don't know what's causing this misfire just yet. But it's a good idea to just pull that filter off, replace it with the new one because they're cheap, and see if it corrects that issue. Let me show you the oil quality. So it's not bad. It don't look bad at all. I mean, it's not black. Let me show you the level because that will be more important. Because the level wasn't bad also, but I've had vehicles, Chevys, that'll start ticking, and because it's a little low, this is a quart low, it'll probably resolve the ticking noise. But it does sound like it has no compression on the cylinder. So, but that's the first thing I want to do. I want to trust that the oil was just changed, and I'm just changing the filter. I know it don't make sense, but let's do that because I don't like the way the oil filter look. And when we pull it off, then we'll be able to see how that gasket look. And if it's very smashed, then that's a clear indication that oil filter wasn't changed, but the oil probably was changed. Get it from around here. Look how smashed that is. Please be a 51516. I got one of these laying around. It feels smashed. It don't, well, I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong. I don't like the way the label look. That's just a sign of age unless I've never seen an O'Reilly's filter look like that. That's just, I don't think that's supposed to look like that. That's a sign of age. It ain't 100% smashed. It is a little pliable. I'm gonna change it anyway. See, I'm gonna cut this oil filter open for us too, so we can take a look at it. But I'm gonna take a look at a 51516, and yeah, see, the label's not supposed to be all messed up like that. So I'm gonna pop that on there. But let's cut this oil filter open and see what we're dealing with. And imagine we're probably not going to see it's like straight up obstructed. I'll be so surprised. I mean, I would expect it to probably look like cardboard. That's the main thing. That's usually a sign of restriction. Oh, shoot. Oh, yeah, this is old. Yeah, this is old. Look on the inside of it. See if I can get all that out of there. Yeah, this wasn't replaced. And then this filter element. Yeah, this is horrible. Let's see if I can bring it. Oh shoot. Let's see if I can bring it just a little closer. This wasn't replaced. Yeah, let's go ahead and put a new filter on it. See if it corrects this. See what we looking like now. Oh yeah, so look how clean that oil is. You know, I put like a quart, man, like maybe a quart and a half in there. And that oil clean, I bet because the owner knew what somebody may have done that he did it. He was the guy that did it. He just, no big deal. No big deal. It ain't like we couldn't find out. So let's start it up, see if it made a change. Boy. Man. All right. Well, it feel like it did a little bit. It feel like it did a little better. But as more and more I keep looking at stuff is just jacked up. What's the differential pressure sensor here? And the hose is broke. And I go to follow it, and it's down here. Like, seriously. Unless this is the map sensor, but the DPFF or whatever they call differential pressure sensor, it usually goes to the EGR. Let me follow that, because yeah, there it go down there, man. Oh my goodness, who in the world worked on this car? Jeez Louise. So that's an exhaust leak. As far as influence on how this impact idle conditions, drivability, the only thing I know, this is basically for the EGR system. So I don't, there's no vacuum leak, because the main one for the vacuum leak is, well, yeah, it would create a vacuum leak because, oh man, this is crazy. I'll shut this camera off, man. Let me stuff my finger over it. Start. They'll take some of the trash sound away. All right, I got stressed out a little bit. I'm sorry. What I did, I blocked off the exhaust ports going to the differential pressure sensor, and because this is a 99 emissions, this is just safety. So what I'm gonna do, look for the misfire first, and then likely what I'll do is a gas test to see if this head gasket's blown, because it smells like a head gasket, and it just smells like it's blown. How can I describe the smell? Coolant, heat, and combustion. That's the best way I can, like gases in there. That's what it smells like. Let's see if we can narrow down the cylinder. I got a couple options. I don't think it's a misfire due to bad coil, so I'll just use this to pull off the coil so I don't get electrocuted. I got a couple options of how to do that, but I'm going to take this route because it's plastic and I'm not going to get shocked. taking this route. That was a hell of a spark too. So this is the cylinder that's misfiring because there was no contribution. Another thing I noticed, brand new coil pack. So evidently they tried to resolve a misfire. This is the thing, man. When people buy these cars from these places or just from anybody, they're just trying to make a dollar. And I'm pretty sure everything that they did was trying to alleviate this misfire, and they just gave up on it. I can promise you, this is so common. Well, I got to go over where somebody was like, man, it's a good truck. Did this, and this. X, Y, and Z is the price. And it's something I'm going to find. So we're looking like a head gasket. We found the cylinder because there was no contribution. The coolant level's low, rattle. I mean, they probably ran it hot, and it's eating coolant, and they was putting water in it. That's why we got water in there, and yeah, that's what I think we're dealing with, and maybe that noise is probably because of cross contamination. Look at the throttle body. Throttle body even got sealing on it. That's usually what amateurs do. You know, they don't have a gasket. Put the glue on it. Everything's looking like a blown head gasket. So we got the cylinder located, and when I had this running, that's air. That's air pressure. This thing ain't been running long enough and heating up fast enough to be able to produce that, and I can smell it. I think we just might as well go ahead and do a gas test now. And if I decide to go even further, just go to this cylinder. Let me see where this one's located. So it's going to be the center one here. We got a bunch of options now. We can put the borescope in there, see what the plug, inspect the plug, see if it's clean. We got a bunch of options. We already isolated the cylinder. All we got to do is figure out which route is easier and which one we want to go through. I feel as though, so I don't have to use my fluid, let's just pull the plug out and analyze a spark plug, because if it's clean, then we already know we're dealing with the head gasket. And we got a couple options even with that. The plug is clean. We can pressure test the coolant system, see if there's coolant intrusion. Take the borescope, put it down in there. Questions answered. So again, we had good fire coming from that coil tower. I mean, it could be a bad wire, but then again, you know, we don't have any history on this vehicle. We don't, because just because it's sparking here doesn't mean that it's not firing inside the cylinder. But this plug is going to tell us everything we need to know. Remember, I don't know if you heard it. This vehicle sounded like it had low compression. We got auto light spark plugs. Oh wow! Look at that. How do you analyze this thing? That's rust. Look at this. What kind of plug is that? That's something going on. I don't recognize this color because I'm so used to oil consumption with these modern vehicles. but this is a sign of heat and oil, like oil accumulation. But at the same time, it looks like it's just water and rust. It's not black, so I'm not going to say it's oil. It's got a rusted color, and it's hot. You know, I think we just should put the bore scope in there and inspect it, because normally we would, if it's oil, we would see buildup of soot buildup. This isn't. This don't look like oil. It just looks like rust. And remember, they were putting water in here. It smells like water. Before I go any further, the plug is new. It's Autolite. Don't care about brand. There's no carbon tracking or anything on the porcelain, so that's not an indication of misfire. We obviously have excessive buildup of carbon of some sort, and it's just bridged and it's causing some issues firing. So again, it feel like it seemed like it's just water on here. Again, I don't care about brand. I just don't. Spark plugs are just there to fire. This is not going to be the cause of this issue. We can clean it, put it back in there, and see how it responds after we look inside of it. But the plugs were replaced like they tried to fix a misfire problem. So the previous owners knew what they had going on. They know that they were selling some bullshit to somebody. They know that. I mean, I'm not going to pass that up. Let's get the bore scope. Let me just see if the damn thing is, because I bumped it over. I don't even recall seeing the piston move from that same spot. Bump it over. Okay, so the piston did move. Cool. Let's flip this around. And yeah, look like we're dealing with a blown head gasket. Seem like we're dealing with the blown head gasket. Look at the combustion chamber. The valves here, you can tell, is rusted out. Let's do this. We're going to fill the radiator system, the cooling system, up with pressure and see if it leaks out. But I'm gonna put water inside of here. You can see condensation inside of there too. Look at it. You can see it on the walls. Come on here. Let's see if I can get it down. I want to get a better spot. You can see condensation on the side of the walls there. Let's fill it up with let's fill the radiator up with water and then pressure test it. So I got some red coolant. I'm just gonna pour this in there, and it'll be a little bit. I should have just poured green in there versus the Dex Cool, because green is a little easier to see when it's intruding in the cylinder. Let's go. We'll see how this works out though. Yeah, we'll get some water. All right, this is gallon 2. Well, I say about this is another half a gallon. I I poured 1 gallon in already, in all fairness. So the plan is to see if I can get the cylinder submerged in coolant before I pressure test it, because the water bypassing the fire ring is going to be the telltale that the head gasket's blown. Why is it taking so much water? Is it leaking out? No, it's not leaking out anywhere. It was just that low. This is really looking like a head gasket problem. I just poured a gallon in there already, and it's not even showing. It's not even showing itself. Let me go grab another one. Okay, so this is the 3rd container. Now I filled all of them about 3/4 full. I didn't think I was gonna have to add this much. Okay, there we go. All right. Finally. So the plan, wait, look at that. Damn. Wow, there you go. There you go. Look at it traveling. There's our problem. Blown head gasket. I don't know if you can see it traveling. Let me get the camera closer. Look at it migrating. I didn't even have to pressure test it just yet. Yeah, there's our problem. You know, I could just go ahead and put air pressure in here just to be on the safe side, but that's it. That explains the way the plug looked. That explains the misfires. That explains the low compression I was hearing when I originally started up. Yeah, that's blown head gasket. It's going to need a motor. Let's put pressure in there just for shits and giggles. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna record this for the customer. So when I do pressure test this, they'll be able to see it, and I can explain it to them. Yep, there it goes. Man, that's pouring out like my ex-wife. Look at that. Damn, that's a lot. Man, that's wet. Yep. This records audio too, so I'm gonna get another one. Well, I was around 5 psi. There it goes. So that explains everything. I knew I went crazy because that plug didn't look normal. I don't come across this a lot, and the walls of the cylinder. Shut this off. It's even compromised because the rust got in there. Look at the scrapes on the walls. I think that's still like a my ex-wife kind of joke too. Let me see if I can flip this around. Yeah, there we go. I want to say it's upside down, but you can see those lines in the wall. Yeah, that water washed the walls out. That water washed those walls out and damaged the cylinder walls too. So this is it. I'm not going any further. They got their money's worth at the moment. There's no point of doing anything else to this. I only spent $5 putting an oil filter on it, and about unit price wise, $7 to $10 putting oil in it. So $15 out of the $200 cost for this. So everybody got their own assessment fee. Everybody got it. From where I am, it's different. So anyway, I'm gonna quote them a motor because of the mileage. It's not worth putting. It's not worth redoing. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it. Maybe somebody else would, but look at those cylinder walls. I'm not doing it, and I don't think the truck's probably worth it. He may have to cut his loss. I don't know. Well, let me contact the customer. Well, shit. I think they're gonna want to put a motor in here. I hate having. I already got a transmission I gotta pull out, and I hate doing motor jobs. I'm gonna be honest. So I'm gonna get them a quote tomorrow for an engine, and it's gonna be a quote to do it right. Okay, to go through it once. New water pump, valve cover, gasket sets, rear main seal, all that fancy jive, and I'm gonna quote to fix all this other stuff also while it's out, assuming that they do go through it and do it right the first time. And we'll see what happens. But let's do this. Let's just clean this plug off, pop it in there, and see what happens. Because the diagnostic aspect is done. I think the curiosity pops up now. Let's see if we can get it running okay. It's not working. And then look, coolant's pushing out too. So this head, I'm just gonna condemn the motor. The motor's just bad. Need to put a new motor in it. I don't think these are gonna be a pain in the butt. But I do like doing the front wheel drives a lot easier because the transmission get to stay in there, like in the Ford Tauruses and stuff. They were so easy. I would do that all day. I don't like doing these. I don't like rear wheel drive. I don't like trucks. Not a huge fan of them. So, I mean, it is what it is. This is just the nature of the beast. I think I said that right. So, there's nothing else to talk about. Like, came in with the misfire. We diagnosed it 100% verification that we are dealing with a bad motor. Not every day I get to come across that. Didn't even have to use a scan tool. The only technology we used was a pressure tester and the bore scope. Otherwise, that was it. It was nothing complex. I guess that's the bittersweet thing about working on these older vehicles. I just wish the person who sold this truck to him was transparent. Now, they did drive it from Virginia to here in North Carolina, which is a couple hours. So, allegedly, she said it ran fine. I think they got it running decent to the point where it just eventually perfectly timed itself to screw up. Maybe I'm wrong. But the context clues of them trying to rectify a misfire are there. New coil, new spark plugs, and whatever else they did while it was inside of there. Who knows, man? I don't know. Maybe, though, the radiator cap messed up, ran the coolant low. The current owners ran it hot. I don't know. The one thing I do know is we need a new motor in it, and I'm going to assume the responsibility honestly fell on the previous owners because they knew what they did. That's where I'm staying at. But anyway, hey, I'm gonna let this ride out. We'll see what happens with this in the future. Obviously, I'm gonna quote them effectively and efficiently to do this motor job right. It's an old vehicle. But hey, if anything happened, I'll definitely update. Hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, head over to some more work. See you next one.